Hey you Degu, today we're going to go over the top 10 tips on getting a pet Degu in 2020, and also I'm going to tell you a pretty crazy story on how I got these little girls. Hey! So this is Sandy and Pearl, but it's kind of hard for me to tell them apart since they are sisters and they're only 6 weeks apart. Hi, sorry for the light, I just wanted to show your sister. I just cleaned your cage today, it's already messy. What is this? Anyway. So today we're going to go over those top 10 tips. So the first tip is research. So when you get a Degu, you definitely want to research and figure out what these little guys are all about. You want to figure out their behavior, what kind of things they like to do, what kind of toys they like, what kind of treats they can have, their food. The pet store that I got these girls from, they actually told me I could use chinchilla and guinea pig food mixed together, but on the sites that I've seen and on the Facebook groups, which I'll link down below, which I pretty much trust because there's a lot of people on there, and since there isn't a lot of information on Degus, you kind of, have to trust in what you have. But I'll leave those links down below. But, yeah, like, you have to give them certain types of wood. Like, I try to give them the apple sticks. Like, there's one right there. That mine are weird. They don't eat the whole stick. They just chew the bark. And you want to make their habitat nice. I actually chose to do the fleece liner this time. I used to have pet rats, and I used to use the litter, like the Carefresh stuff all the time. But I found that it was kind of expensive, and it kind of smells. So I've been using the fleece liner for a couple weeks now. I actually really like it. I did the no-sew thing. See, they keep pulling this up. There we go. I try to put this under. But yeah. It's been working pretty good. Hi, honey. I hope it's not bothering you. Where's this other girl? Hi. But yeah, I'm going to open up the cage. The second thing to think about is they live for 6 to 8 years, so that is a long time. Get a cage. Look for the best deal. So when I was at the pet store, they had a double critter nation there. No, it wasn't even the double critter nation. It was just the one. It was just the single level. It was $299. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna look somewhere else. So I actually looked on eBay and I found this cage. This is the Preview Hendrix, the feisty ferret, and the only difference to me, I mean, the dimensions are a little bit smaller. The only thing is this side doesn't open. This is just stays put, but this side opens. This whole door opens wide up. I can still get in there. The levels are a little bit harder to get out, just because it's such a tight fit in there, but I was able to clean it out and everything. But yeah, get a cage, find something. This was over or under half the price. You get what I mean? But it's pretty good. I really love it. They have so much space. It's amazing. I can put my supplies up there. I can do everything. Get or make some toys. So right now my cage is kind of empty because today was wash day. So like I said, I do the fleece liner. I have to wash everything out, but right now they're drying. But usually I have like a hammock right in there. And then it's actually like a pet jacket for like a chihuahua or something, but my dog is way bigger than that. So we actually had that from the person that used to live here. But up top, like in here, I put the Velcro through there and through there for like if you would on the dog, and I kind of leave it through, and they kind of just come through that little ladder and go through that side. But they like that. I do the little toys, like I have my sparkling water box, and I put the little hay inside. And then I actually just did this today, and I'm planning on making a video about how to make like homemade toys and things like that. This is like a little bucket from the dollar store. I put some hay and some food in there so they can kind of rummage around for that. That's actually a piece of cardboard from like a toy. You can see the little slats. It just kind of works there, and they could just jump up. And they have their thing there. Everything in here is pretty much free. Like this is from an old coffee container. And what I did is I had like that heat tape stuff. It kind of almost feels like aluminum foil. It feels like it, so I just covered that up with like the metal wire stuff I used to kind of put it on there. I drilled two holes on each side and then did that, and then they started digging and scratching that, and I did the hay stuff in there too, and they have the little dog toy thing. They don't really do much to it though. My Degus are weird. I mean, they do chew things, but they're not really huge chewers like I've heard Degus are. And then I have their water bottle. Yeah, I'm missing their little, I have like a pad thing I put there, so when the water drips, it kind of absorbs it. But that's drying right now, and then the lava block, all that. Anyway, let's get back on track. Let's see. Get your needed materials. Food, everything like that. Look into it. Like I said, chinchilla pig mix is only for emergency. The groups and everything like that say that you can use that, but it's not really exactly their diet. You can use it, but you really shouldn't use it as a staple. I actually use, where is it? It's right up here. The Degu formula from Sunseed. I actually really like it. It works really good. Yeah, this bag lasted me a pretty good amount of time for, you know, cost. I just got a new one today. You just have to think about all the supplies you need. What else do I have? I got another water bottle today because I only had one. And I noticed that Degus, or my Degus at least, they're a little territorial. So if they're thirsty, they're going to be kind of a little nasty to each other to try to get it. And then I have a sand bath. I really recommend getting one of these things. I got this from the dollar store. It has like little metal bristles on it. And I just kind of use this to scoop and clean, like spot clean as I go. Like I'll probably scoop that part up right there from their food because they leave their little dust everywhere. And then I could put it back in my little fruit crate thing. I kept the lid from that coffee thing that I made because I don't really know what I want to do with it yet. I don't know if I want to put it in there, but they might chew it. But I put these in here for their sand bath because the guy was trying to get me to buy a sand bath. It was like $22 or something like that, or $26 for a little sand bath house. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use some old Tupperware containers. They haven't chewed it or anything, so I mean, whatever. Then I have all that in there. Let's see. And then get at least two, oh, see, I'm skipping over it now. I gotta love it. I'm not good at making these videos, guys. See, I'm trying. I am trying. I made all these notes. Alright, here, I'll leave it on this. Yeah, set it up, make sure it's escape proof, etc. Make sure the wire spacing is good, like right in here. This is pretty good. Now, if they're any smaller, I was kind of like, when I first got this cage, their nose like fit like halfway through. So I was kind of nervous. Hey, baby girl. Hey, honey, don't bite me. Ooh. I'm not snack. I'm not a snack. I'm not a snack. Anyway. But yeah, make sure the wire spacing is good. Make sure it's escape proof. This cage has like, I think it said it's chew proof, but it has like some kind of paint or something that's like non-toxic. So even if they do chew it like crazy, they'll still be okay. Yeah, get at least 2 Degus. You can have one, but they really should be together unless you have one that's been known to be in fights or is a little bit more dominant or maybe he's a little bit sick or anything like that. It's okay to have one, but you should always strive to have 2 just because they are social animals. You know, you have to think, if you were a little critter, would you want to have a little friend too? You know, they do like to cuddle. They like their snuggle time. Mine are always cuddling together. It's so cute. And then find a breeder or rescue a pet store. I actually find mine at a pet store because there literally is nobody else around where I live that has Degus. So it was a kind of a hit or miss thing, and I'm actually about to go into my story now. Be prepared is number 8. So, story time, and let's open this up so I can show you the girls while I tell you the craziness that ensued. So, there's a pet store around where I live, and I went in there and I seen that it was like, oh, 25% off sale, and it was like for the next day, and I was like, cool. But like I said before, I had pet rats, and so I went in there, and now I've always wanted like a hairless rat. How they have skinny pigs, so it's a hairless rat. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're 2 boys. So I was like, that's so cute. So I was actually planning on going in there and getting them. Well, my dad, he's really into like aquariums and fish like that, so he was going too. And I was like, oh, might as well meet you there, because honestly, I was planning on getting the hairless rats. But I went in there and my dad's like, oh yeah, aren't these the Degus? Because I had told him how I seen Degus in there. I was like, oh my gosh, because they had these two girls together in a cage. And then they had a single male. And I was like, Dad, they have Degus. That's awesome. But they were like $50 a piece. So I kind of wasn't like trying to get them because I really didn't have the money to put out to buy them right away. But yeah. So my dad was like, oh, these are the Degus, right? And I was like, yeah, aren't they cute? He was like, oh, well, why don't you pick one out? Merry Christmas. I'm like, what? Are you serious? So I'm just kind of like sitting there in shock, trying to think what I should do. Should I really take this on? And then he was like, oh, well, you only need the one, right? And I'm like, well, they really should be in pairs. You know, they are social. But then, so long story short, I ended up getting the two. Well, you know how they give you those little rinky-dink little boxes, the cardboard boxes that you and a hamster could chew through? Yeah, they put these girls in there. And so we walked outside. They had the two little boxes, and we put it inside of like a plastic bag, but just like left the bag open at the top a little bit to just hold them in there to have like a little bit more protection. My dad's like, oh my gosh, it's chewing out. It's going to get through the bag. So I'm like, oh my God. He runs in the store, gets a cardboard box. I get in the car. I'm driving home, like obviously speeding a little bit. Have my hand on top of the box. I mean, I can feel her chewing the entire time. And then, as I get into my neighborhood, I feel it start chewing and chewing and chewing, and I feel her, I just feel nothing. I'm like, oh, she got out. I slammed on the brakes. I pulled over, and then I look over, and she's literally sitting in between of my headrest, staring at my kid, and my kid just sitting there and screamed, and I was like, screaming. And I didn't know what else to do. I just reached out and grabbed her and just sat there and just held her like this. I was just holding her and she's staring at me and I'm staring at her. I'm like, why did you do this? Why is this happening? We can't just go home. So I had to sit there and drive with one hand and hold her with like this with the other. I hold in the driveway, I slam on the brakes. I called my husband. I'm like, honey, you need to come outside and get our kid and come out and help me. So I did that, and I brought the one in, and I had the other one in my hand. Now, we had a little glass, like, reptile terrarium, so it was an aquarium, but it had the little, like, breather hole things with the little, like, the black slot thing. So we put them in there until we found, like, a decent cage, because it took me, like, a couple days to find this one, because I wanted to get a decent one. But I didn't want to miss out on getting pet Degus, so yeah, that happened, and then we put her in the little, terrarium thing, and all of a sudden, we look over, and my husband's like, it got out. The one got out, again, started climbing underneath the one chair, had to pull the chair out, grab her, put her back in, throw her back in. It was crazy. So yeah, that's my crazy story. Be prepared, please, because when you go to the pet store, and they're going to give you these little crazy rinky-dink boxes that a mouse could get out of. I mean, seriously. I was like, are you, like, seriously? Because, I mean, I knew a little bit, I knew a good amount about Degus, because I've always wanted one. Not a good amount, but a decent amount, I guess. So I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, so that's how that went. Yeah, and then when you get them, place them in the cage as gently as you can, because I have also read that if you grab a Degu from the top, like as if you're reaching down and grabbing them, they think of them almost as like they're like the prey, because they are a prey animal. They will bite you. You don't want to do that. I also would suggest getting some decent like leather gloves. They don't have to be expensive or anything, just something just in case they do bite you or you have to break up a fight or anything. You can kind of, you know, have that little protection, because they're almost like a little beaver. Yes. What else? Then let them settle for a little bit, because they're going to be a little startled and they're going to be a little scared when they first get into their cage and from the, you know, ruckus from coming home and everything. So you just want to let them settle and be happy and cute. And then the last one is, oh, before I forget, yeah, the last one is put your hand in almost like this. I'm going to show you now. So this is how this opens. Just to show you real quick. See how I can do all this. So, you just want to slowly put your hand. Just kind of let him sniff you a little bit. Now they might nibble you a little bit, but you will know if they're trying to hurt you because it will hurt. See, so she's nibbling me a little bit. But you just want to kind of put your hand in there, and after a while they'll kind of get used to you. Like this one, this is Sandy. Like I said, I can hardly tell them apart by looks. I can tell these girls apart by the way they act. Sandy lets me kind of do whatever. I just pet her, and she's really cute. But Pearl, she lets me pet her too, but she's a lot more skittish, and she's the more dominant one. But she'll actually come up on this ledge, and I'll go like this, and she'll jump